Shots rang out in the quiet neighborhood of Trenchtown, San Ignacio last night, and when the gunfire ceased, 28-year-old Joshua Villas was dead, and his neighbor, 21-year-old Anthony Sul, lay gravely injured. This morning, Villas's common-law wife told us how shockingly and suddenly violence was visited on her home.
Like 9:15, so I hear somebody come and he said, "Why, Jay? And then he never answered. But when they knocked the door one time, he get up from the bed and I tell him, "Where you going?" Then I said I don't pass curfew hours. And then he never answered me. So he just continue walk out from the room and he come and I hear when he opened the latch from the door. And when I hear, all I hear, he said, "What going on, boy?" And then I hear the gunshots. I hear like four, one behind the other. And that when I come out from my room and I made a run out, and when I made a run out, I hear more gunshots and I may think that then they shoot more towards the house, right? So I just reverse back and I gone down on the ground and my kid then tell me, "Mom," and then I tell him, "Just hide under the bed." And like it happened so fast that when I hear and the gunshots me over, I get up and I peep. And when I peep, the door me slightly open and I just see one shadow pass. I couldn't recognize nobody, nothing. So all I do that jump over my husband's body and I pull the door and I lock it because I'm afraid make them come back.
And that's how Cindy Canche found herself locked inside her home, ducking for cover between her front door and the body of the man she loved, powerless to protect their children.
When I turn and I watch him, I see he never made the breathe anymore. So all I miss is that the blood come out from his head. And then I hear my dogs in the bark, then gone behind the persons them way in the bush. And when I hear that the dogs in the bark fire, I open back my door and I holler for the girl. I tell her, "Lex, call the police." I tell her like that. And she just scream and she tell me, "I can't." So then shut them 22. So, and she started to scream for help. And then I see one neighbor come out and I tell her, "Please call the police." So I lock my door again and I grab my phone and I call 911. And then just kill my husband and they ask me where. So I give them the direction and everything. And then when the police come.
They were still on the ground this morning, investigating and combing for bullet casings. And while they've yet to arrive at any conclusions, theories are starting to take shape.
What police know is that two Hispanic males wearing masks and peak caps entered the location and then shouted for Mr. Villas. And on their way out, they entered the home of Mr. Zul where they fired several shots, injuring him. He is in a stable condition at the Western Regional Hospital. At this time, we are following several leads in relation to this investigation.
Sir, what's the information as far as drug turf wars that have occurred in the Cayo district? We've observed many of them before. Is this an assassination in just another one?
We will have to see where the investigation goes. However, also during the police's examination at the scene, a black plastic bag was found clutched in the deceased's hand that had in some loose cannabis. And he is known to the police as several searches have been done on his home. I believe sometime around March or April of this year, he was charged for drug possession by the police.
Is the neighbor known to the police?
At this point in time, no.
But Villas's partner doesn't believe his killing to be related to the drug trade and says the attack upon her family came as a complete shock. Last year around this time, there were some targeted killings, mainly in Santa Elena, in which, families were targeted. Those were people fighting over drug turf. Is this anything similar?
I don't think so.
So this was a complete shock last night. There was no threat.
Threat, nothing. We never had one threat. We never, nobody come here, come threaten, no, nothing.
Her main concern now is for her children. She told us that this is the second death that her eldest child has witnessed firsthand, and that last night, by the time she got to comfort the youngest, he was crouched at the foot of the bed with his hands clasped in prayer.
Well, they were in shock. They were in shock because, you know, for a kid to see a body laying there bleeding and thing, it's a shock for them. It's very hard. They couldn't even sleep the whole night and they're still awake. They can't sleep. They say it's terrifying for them. He says that when he closes his eyes, he sees the image.
Cherise Halto, 7 News.